Okay, Louis L'Amour is wonderful. Louis L'Amour wrote Shane and Hondo and Jubal and these great westerns. He also wrote other stuff too. And I love Louis L'Amour. I always, growing up when I was a kid, I think I read most of the books. And the adventure and the wonderful writing. He was a super writer. He said one day, well, let me preface this. I loved him. One day I'm at Founders Church. I just found this teaching. It's a Wednesday night. We're down after the service at the social hall, and the thing was full, like 1,000 people there. And I'm standing there, and this guy's standing next to me with a big cowboy hat on. And everybody's talking to each other, and he reached out his hand and shook his hand, and he said, "I'm Louis." And I said, "Hi, Louis, I'm Jay." And somebody said, "That's Louis L'Amour." And I go, "Oh, no." Anyhow, he was on the board of Founders Church when I first joined. One of the great, if you ever study writing, okay, he said once about writing, he said, if you want to write, read the best writers you can find. If you want to write, read the best writers. If you want to be a metaphysician, study the best metaphysicians. He said this, one day he was speeding along on his typewriter, and his daughter walked in, and she was just a baby at the time. She was just a child. And she said, "Daddy, why are you writing so fast?" And he said, "Because I want to see how the story turns out." Why are you writing so fast? Because I want to see how the story's turning out. Okay. How many know that you're writing your own story? Okay. And how many know that sometimes we repeat the last chapter too much? Okay. And how many know that there's a lot of people out there that just, that they get locked into a soap opera. They get locked in, one of the reasons I heard a psychologist say the reason soap operas are so popular is because people can turn on soap operas and see somebody with a life that's more screwed up than theirs is. It makes them feel better. Well, at least I'm not them. Okay. All right. Everyone say, I choose to write a fabulous story. And I'm the star of it. And it turns out happily ever after. Now, even happily ever after stories does not just go along and do what? Just, everything is hunky-dory. Okay, that's great. We just saw Alice in Wonderland, the new one, the other night. And Alice did have some problems. But she found a way to overcome it and let it happen a little more. I heard a wonderful story that this couple, they were recently married, and they were having lots and lots of problems, so they went to see their rabbi. And they were trying to prevent the termination of their short relationship. The rabbi asked the husband, said, "What brought you to the point where you're not able to keep this marriage together?" And the husband said, "In the 6 weeks we've been together, we haven't been able to agree on one thing." And the wife said, "It's been 7 weeks." We've got a psychologist over here that's cracking up. Have you had them in to see you? Oh, yeah. That's good. It's good. How many are Will Rogers fans? Okay. Isn't it great, Will Rogers? What was he? 1935 is when his plane went down. And his consciousness was so wonderful, and what he shared was so wonderful, that he's still with us. Will Rogers is still with us here all these years later. Will Rogers said, listen, I love these. I found some quotes. This is great. He said, "Never slap a man who's chewing tobacco." You thought you weren't going to learn anything this morning. Never kick a cow chip on a hot day. There are 2 theories to arguing with a woman. Neither works. Never miss a good chance to shut up. I need to listen to that one myself sometime. Okay. Always drink upstream from the herd. If you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. The quickest way to double your money is to fold it and put it back in your pocket. There are two kinds of men: the ones who learn by reading, and the few learn by observation, and the rest of them, I won't go into go to the bathroom on an electric fence. We won't go into that anymore. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. How many know that's true? He was very wise, and he was able to share that wisdom with humor. Dr. Holmes loved Will Rogers. Ernest said once that people learn more if they're laughing. They learn more if they're smiling. They learn more than they are, don't scare them into realization. When he agreed to let this become a church, he said, we don't have anything to scare them with. We don't have any place to send them if they disagree with us. It was Will Rogers again who said, letting a cat out of a bag is a whole lot easier than putting it back in. Now, you are the power. You have the power to move forward and allow your range to expand, your vision to improve, and your positiveness to become more apparent to the world around you. Let's conclude with this. And I recommend, if you're please go over to the bookstore and get the Creative Thought magazine for July. It is absolutely wonderful. We're getting Cynthia's getting calls from all over the country saying thank you for the July issue. It is just superb. How many read it already? It's just excellent, excellent. And also in the July issue of Science of Mind magazine, there's a wonderful article there by our friends the Lakota, and it's a wonderful, beautiful article in the Science of Mind. I'm going to share this with you. This is called Two Wolves, and I want you to leave with this morning and see how it applies. This is the simplicity and the wisdom of our Native American friends. One evening, an old Cherokee told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside of people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside of you, inside of us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy and peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about this for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather this question: which wolf wins? And the old Cherokee replied, "The one you feed." The one you feed, people. Feed the beautiful. It's in you. Let it grow. Let it be your way. Let it unfold. And let the healthy effect of it enter your mind, your body, and your world. Celebrate it before you see it, because it's good enough to be true, and it's good enough to be you. And I love you, and I thank you for being here today. Namaste.